So, welcome to Sensible Secondhand Reviews, the show where we look at sensible, practical cars that you could buy with a budget of between £1,000 and £5,000. This is a 2013 Vauxhall Mokka 1.4 Turbo Exclusiv four-wheel drive, and it's not too bad actually. So the Mokka came out in late 2012. This is actually a very early Mokka on a 62 registration. It's based on the same platform as the last generation Chevrolet Aveo that was called the Chevrolet Sonic in some markets. It's not based at all on the Vauxhall Corsa D or E, which is what you'd imagine, because Vauxhall was selling absolutely tons of Corsas at the time that this car was made. And the engine and gearbox, I think, is quite similar in that way, although because this is actually a four-wheel drive version, they wouldn't have fitted this to the Corsa at all. The engines available in a Mokka were a 1.6 with 113 horsepower, this 1.4 with 138 horsepower, and then a later 1.4 which had 150 horsepower. That was only available in the Mokka X, which was the revised version of this car that came out in 2016, late 2016. The major changes on the X are some of the styling tweaks, but also the centre console is completely different. The 1.4 engine that came in later is not related to this Family Zero engine. It's a derivative of what they call the General Motors small gasoline engine, SGE. And so, you know, I've read some places where they said they're the same engine, but they're not actually. The other thing is that car only came with four-wheel drive and an automatic gearbox, which is really strange, because this version here, the 1.4 Turbo, when this car was launched, this also only came with four-wheel drive, but it was a manual gearbox, which is really confusing. Later on, there was a front-wheel drive version of this 1.4 Turbo available, and you could get an automatic gearbox. I'm told by Terry, who owns this car, who also owns the Chevette HSR that you may or may not have seen already on Tree Jacket Reviews, but he gets about 40 miles per gallon in it when you put it in six. And certainly going along this dual carriageway, it feels nice and composed. Of course, there was a particular type of engine available in the Mokka as well, but as usual, due to controversial government legislation and all sorts of other reasons, we don't talk about diesels on this channel. So here we are at Vauxhall Circuit, just near Andover. You can see there's the little sort of sign which greets you when you come in. Not the most racy car. I think these actually look better than they did when they came out. The car's received a lot of criticism, I think, for various things like, you know, bland looks and various other things, and there are some issues that these cars have, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But overall, I think it's okay. You've got to remember, the sort of average person who buys one of these isn't a car enthusiast. They just want something to get them around and fit their family in and things like that. And I think this does actually have, you know, a reasonably nice profile. I think some of the cars that are coming out now probably look a bit more fussy than this. This looks reasonably sort of sort of demure, really. And as we can see, we've got a little droop snoot Firenze on there because Terry is a big fan of the droop snoot Vauxhalls, one of which I have already driven today. So yeah, turbo 4x4 it says on the back, because it's got a turbo engine, a 4x4. Normal boot opening, about 360 litres in here. One of the amazing things about this car, because it's a really early Mokka, it's got like a Mokka coloured interior. It's sort of brown interior. I kind of like that as opposed to just unrelentingly black. So we've not got, I don't think, a spare wheel in this one. I think it is a tyre inflation kit in this one. I could be wrong. We've got little cubbies in the side to store things, and quite a flat boot floor. That's good. I think if you needed to fold those, it would be kind of flat to take things in and out. That's really good, actually. And then a nice sort of protected bit that's not painted if you're loading things in and out. That's quite handy, actually. These door handles were on so many Opel and Vauxhall products for the last 15 years. So my tweed jacket is in there because I've been doing tweed jacket reviews. On Terry's other car, we just moved some of the stuff out of the way. One of the things that he mentioned to me, and this is absolutely true, is that you've got a 3-pin socket down here, which you have. There we go, it's 3-pin socket. Isn't that fantastic? So not only can you plug in, I don't know, a games console or a phone or something, which you would do with just a normal USB, you can plug a laptop or something in there, or I don't know, a full-size vacuum cleaner or something, although that might trip the electric, so maybe not, but certainly a laptop would be good. Ooh, Ultimate Bond and Spy Themes collection. We like that sort of thing, viewers. Little armrest in the middle. Funnily enough, no armrest in the middle, despite the fact it's quite a fancy model, the Exclusiv without the E on the end. It's quite a sort of, you know, upper line model, and you could get sat nav and leather seats on these. But nevertheless, we haven't got a rear armrest in the middle, which is a surprise. Loads of room under here to put your feet in, and loads and loads and loads of headroom. No problem whatsoever in that respect. Knee room's probably a little bit tighter than I imagined it would be, but it's not too bad. Getting in and out for a lot of people is really easy. You've actually got 2 little compartments in the door as well. Someone has actually thought quite a lot about this car. You've got soft touch plastics on here. I just wouldn't expect that in the colours, but it's got them, and the door handles actually feel quite nice on the inside. If you take a seat in here, so yeah, the car's almost 10 years old, and so there is a few signs of wear in here, like this sort of steering wheel has worn a little bit, but it feels good. This is a leather steering wheel, leather gear lever, and thank goodness you've got a conventional handbrake in here. I think this button's for the hill descent control as well, which is good. Dual zone climate control. It reminds me in here of the dashboard of an Astra J, which also has loads and loads and loads of buttons in here. We've not got the sat nav in here, but you could get that as an option. Although most people just want to use Android or Apple CarPlay in a car which came on the later Mokka X, that sort of stuff, not on the pre-facelift Mokka like this. Let's try my secret mission documents in the glove box, which would probably fit if I took various bits out. In fact, I might just try that and see if we can. No. That's a shame, viewers. We're doing well with the Spy Themes CD, and now, unfortunately, we're not doing so well, but we do have an upper compartment here for all kinds of exciting things. Maybe we can put that in the door pocket just down there. Yes, easily fit that in the door pocket. Very easily. So it is rather well made in here. It feels quite good. We'll just change hands a second, viewers. We've got this sort of nice fitting plastic here. It's not obviously real silver, it is plastic, but it feels pretty nice. I'm actually quite impressed with the colour scheme of this. It's an early one, but it didn't all come with this sort of colour scheme with the blue dash top and the brown bits, and you think that doesn't sound very nice, but actually it's a lot nicer than just having black on black, which is what most cars seem to have. Down here is an eco button for the stop start. Of course, you can turn that off if you don't want it. I know some people don't like that. Normal GM 6-speed manual. You can see on the dials here, there's actually an auto stop bit as well, which my Chevy Cruze, which had stop start, was like that. And it had the exact same steering column. These stalks, though they were black rather than brown. Same place for the cruise control and all the sort of telephony on this side. You also see this car's got automatic lights. I think it's also got automatic wipers, but I'm not entirely sure. Something like this though, which probably at the time seemed really complicated. This looks quite simple in comparison to all these modern touchscreen things that people like. I'm just going to pause a second whilst I just switch it on so we can have a look at the screens. So there we go, there is the time. It's refreshing on camera far more than in real life, so it doesn't sort of make that sort of kind of strobe effect. So going to change engine oil, so we'll just get rid of that warning. There we go. So there's the system in there. As far as I know, we twist the top of this and we can go to various different things. There we go. We can have a look at sort of all the information. And I think if I press this menu button on top of there, I think we can change it. So there we go. Speed warning off. Don't want that. And we can also change it from Imperial to all that kind of thing. And we can go to the eco settings. There's my economy trend gauge. I used to have my Chevy Cruze. Excellent. I used to like playing with that quite a lot. Gallons per hour and that sort of thing. We'll put it back exactly what it was like. I think it was on that one. There we go. I'll just leave it on there. Fuel gauge and temperature gauge and things like that. Just do the dial sweep. I might just see if I can start the engine and see if it will do the dial sweep for me. Just change hands again. There we go. Yes, it does. Actually, we like a bit of dial sweep, viewers. Let's turn that off so we save fuel because it's precious. I haven't got an overhead compartment here for sunglasses or things. That's a shame. We do have two lights up here. We've got illuminated vanity mirror. We've got two of those. Let's see if we have. Yes, we have. Hello. That's excellent. Yeah, someone's thought about this car quite a lot. There's always little touches in it. Has light switches placed in the right position for easy access. Two cup holders down here and a sort of lidded compartment for putting other stuff in there. Well, it's pretty well thought out, really. Okay, let's have a look at the engine. So Mr. Bill and I have always been defeated by finding a bonnet catch. It was right exactly where you expect it. It's right here, just on top of the badge. So, you know, that was silly. Anyway, here we go. This is a four-wheel drive version, so it might have one or two other things in here that are different from a normal front-wheel drive version. This is the 1.4 Family Zero engine, which I think dates back to 1996, actually, originally. In this application, it's 138 horsepower. It looks reasonably easy to sort of work on, actually. There might even be a sort of canister oil filter on this one. Header tank is just there, or the coolant reservoir, whatever you want to call it. Can't quite see the gearbox. I'm sure it's sort of just there. But yeah, you know, there's nothing sort of surprising or frightening about it. This engine's been around a long time. I think they made it until late 2019. The last car to use it was actually the Corsa E, before they went on to the Stellantis produced Corsa F. Yeah, I think it looks reasonably handsome. We've got all-round parking sensors on this model as well, and these little chrome rings around the headlamp. So yeah, it's pretty smart actually. Right, I think it's time to go for another drive. The trim levels available in the pre-facelift Mokka were S, SE, Techline, Exclusiv like this, although with no E on the end, which always annoys me, and a limited edition, which you know, is self-explanatory really. To drive it, it feels very much like pretty much every single other small SUV that I've driven. SsangYong Tivoli, Nissan Juke, Renault Captur, they all feel very similar. That's not really a criticism particularly, because the sort of person who's looking to buy a car like this doesn't really want the last word in dynamism. They you know, just want a nice comfortable car to cruise around in, and this does really well. I'm very blessed today to be accompanied by Mr. Bill from the Fuel Power channel, who's lent me his camera equipment so we can have better in-car footage than normal with Sensible Secondhand Reviews, where we get into the bouncy camera and terrible audio, which isn't the best. But of course, for the shots around the car, I'm just doing on my normal phone, and that's perfectly adequate. Brakes are very sharp in this. The thing is that the Terry owns this car is a Vauxhall mechanic, and so he keeps mechanicals in really good condition. Gearbox feels very good. It sort of typical later GM era Vauxhall Opel gearbox, and yeah, it feels really good. This car had an identical twin called the Chevy Trax, which was only sold in this country for just a couple of years, I think 2013 to 14 only. And I have seen those around. They have a sort of digi-dash and things like that, so a little bit different, but largely the same. The biggest market, I think, for this car, though, in some ways, was United States of America and then China, because they got a Buick version of this car called a Buick Encore, which was made until 2022. Obviously, the Mokka X went out of production in 2019, probably due to the sort of licensing agreement with General Motors that expired when first PSA and then Stellantis was involved, and then the new Mokka, just the Mokka, came out in 2021 that has absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with this. I forgot to tell you, viewers, about this annoying bong that happens when you have the key in the ignition and the door open. It's not my favourite. Anyway, let's get my secret mission documents and have a look at some Mokka X trim levels, because there are a lot more actually. But didn't use any of the pre-facelift trim levels after the Mokka X came in 2016. Active, Design Line, Design Nav, Elite, Elite Nav, Griffin, I think, oh, that's a special edition or something, a Griffin Plus, and the Ultimate. Now, friend of the channel, Mike Humble, writing on the parkers.co.uk website, has come up with some common Mokka and Mokka X issues to look out for. There are some on there related to the forbidden fuel models, but of course, we don't talk about diesels on this channel, so it's not really a problem. Now, the manual gearbox can go a bit stiff, which was a 6-speed on 1.4 turbo and a 5-speed on a 1.6. If you've got OnStar fitted, that comes on some of the Mokka X's, that can cause some problems. The rear brakes can get noisy. On a 4x4 one like this, if someone's taking it off-road, then there might be some underbody damage. This isn't a Land Rover Freelander though, so don't expect it to sort of perform like that. Although it'd do pretty well for itself, to be honest. Now, misfires on the 1.6, 1.4 petrol engines, this generally can be down to coil packs and spark plugs. Actually, on the 1.6 Chevy Cruze that I had with the same engine, Family 1 engine it's called, that was caused when you were sort of having stepped power accelerating up a motorway slip road by simply just changing the coil packs and the spark plugs. If you're looking at one of these earlier Mokkas like this one, then there were some recalls on the 2016 and earlier models, so just make sure that they've actually been done. This particular car was actually built in South Korea. The left-hand drive ones often were built in Spain, would be the Opel models, but this was actually built in South Korea, which is interesting, like the UK market Chevrolet Cruzes. They were built in South Korea as well. Other plants were in China, Russia, and for some reason Belarus. So in conclusion, what do we think of the first generation Mokka? Well, I quite like this. It's got the nice sort of brown and blue interior, which I've taken quite a fancy to. I like a lot of these soft touch plastics that are in here, and the driving position is good. The car is very comfortable. The steering is very light, although maybe it's a little bit too light. It's quite well equipped, this particular model, and it rides well. Maybe not the most exciting type of car that you've ever had, but if you just need something to transport your family around, just bear in mind, the things that I've said, then it could be a pretty good option. I think I prefer my Samuel Tivoli though. Just a bit of personal bias there. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed for watching this episode of Sensible Secondhand Reviews. Thank you to Mr. Bill from Fuel Power for helping me out with some of the driving section bits, because that has resulted in better footage for us. And we'll see you again soon for more sensible and reasonably priced motoring.